Hi everybody, Greg Friel here once again with the Friel Thing podcast, and I'm here with a very, very good friend of mine, and I'm frankly ashamed that I haven't had her on my podcast before now. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Bodil Caskill.
Oh. Hi everyone. Good morning, or is it nearly good afternoon?
It is still the morning, and that was frankly disarmingly cheery for this time in the morning. But you were up super early this morning. Were you not like a BNI meeting or something? First thing? Are they still at stupid o'clock? Are they like
a lot of them
6:30? So really? What time was this one?
6:45.
Oh, for God's sake!
Although I have to say I was 5 minutes late this morning because I was drying my hair. I wouldn't normally have a shower and wash my hair before my BNI, only because I would tie it up and get dressed and whatever. But this morning I thought, I don't have time between my BNI and my next meeting and then speaking to Greg, and I have to be sure
you need to.
My hair's okay.
Absolutely. Because I will judge you harshly.
Yes.
But you're looking fabulous, so I mean, you don't have to worry, obviously. For the folks at home, a quick 30 seconds on who you are and what it is that you do.
Yep, absolutely. So I'm Bodil Caskill, as the name at the bottom says, and as Greg has introduced me as. I am a representative of Go Paperless. My company's Diginet Limited, and about 4.5 years ago Diginet was born, and I have to say that now, looking back, a lot of it was research. Yes, I had some fantastic clients on the Diginet platform, but I found that it wasn't giving my clients what they really needed. So Go Paperless has come out of all of this, a British company who are in association with the World Land Trust, which means that I can wheel out David Attenborough every now and again.
Oh, I like that.
Yes. So we're not just saving the planet by giving huge tranches of money to the World Land Trust. For every card that's sold, we give them money. And I was going to say to build trees, but no, we don't. We plant trees in areas.
Building trees that'll be a good trick.
Yeah, Lego. You can do it with Lego. Believe me.
Yes,
I've done it. So yeah, we've been around for just over a year now. But I have to say that at the time there was probably about 5 or 6 digital business cards on the market.
Yeah. Now
there seems to be about 1,000. But with the whole pandemic and not being able to hand over bits of paper, etc., and be face to face.
Yeah, I mean, I was just going to say about that. You're jumping ahead, but just answering all these questions before I even ask them.
God. Reading your mind, Greg. Reading your mind.
That's what it is. So let's go back to the start of the pandemic, Bodil.
Yes.
What actually? I mean, I was thinking about this in anticipation of this interview. I was thinking, I would imagine that, at the risk of sounding like the pandemic's been amazing for you, but in terms of what it is that you do, it's like, well, who's going to hand over? You don't have opportunities to hand over business cards, because you're not in rooms with other people. So obviously, this kind of a product is ideal in a pandemic. Dare I say it?
Yep. It sure is, because it's something that you can put it in a Zoom chat as a link. Normally on Zoom I've got a background which has a QR code that can be scanned. It sends on by email, by text, by WhatsApp, whatever way that you want to send it on. It's really quick and easy. The whole difference, of course, is that not only are we trying to bolster the World Land Trust, not quite, but we do help a little. But with Go Paperless, what we do that nobody else does is the fact that we track the shares and reshares of the card. Or in other words, I send on my card to Greg sends it on to Linda, and as long as you're opting in, so very, very compliant, GDPR, the whole thing, I get to see that Greg has shared my card with Linda. Here's her telephone number and or email address, and there's a time and date. So I can pick up the phone the very next day and say, "Hi, Linda."
So this almost sounds like a blockchain thing, that it's like, you'll have heard of NFTs and you know all of that side of things, but in the same way that it's actually trackable, and so then you're able to kind of go, all right, I know that this person has my contact details. So that's an incredible. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'm learning things. This is educational as well, Bodil.
Digital word of mouth.
Absolutely. Okay, there you go. That's the phrase. You need to be a teacher or something. So I'm going to go way back, right? Way back. I mean, obviously, Diginet, you said about 4.5 years. That must have been around about the time that I met you.
When we first met, yeah.
Just can you remember which event was that? Was that Southsiders or?
It was either Southsiders or East End Connections.
Yeah, it would have been one of the two.
Yeah.
Can't quite remember. But I mean, it's one of these things where like you and I would just see each other at almost every single networking event. It's like, hi, yeah, I know your story.
Oh, it's him again. Oh, God.
Exactly. Jeez. And it kind of got tiresome bumping into me, as is the case for most people. But let's go even further back than that. So what's your background before you kind of got into the whole Diginet thing? Where did you go to school? Where did what did you study? Did you go to college, university, or anything like that? What did you want to be when you grew up, and what is the meaning of life, Bodil?
Which one will I answer first, Greg? Okay, let's take it right back. What did I want to be when I was growing up? I wanted to be an air hostess. Now, if you consider, I was flying since I was a baby. Because my mum's Danish, we would fly back and forth to Denmark every summer. And I probably spent, 2 to 3 months, well, the whole of the school holidays right up until I was 10, flying back and forth to Denmark. The weather's a bit better over there as well. Did I ever get to the air hostessy bit? No. Did I do a bit of waitressing? Yes. So that's about as close as I got to it.
I'm not going to say waitresses in the sky. I'm just not going to say it.
No,
because my stepdaughter has been been cabin crew for years, and up until the pandemic. Yeah, she's done that for around 12, 15 years actually. My God.
Oh, I take my hat off to them, honestly, especially on long haul. Maybe not so much. I think even the short haul hostesses, they're just constantly up and down that aisle, and they've got such a short space of time on the little flights to cram everything in and make sure that everybody's okay.
Well, she started off doing some who was she with first? Globespan first, and then she went out to the Middle East, and then she worked sort of for VIPs and doing all that kind of stuff. So private and all that kind of thing. So and that basically is event management.
Yeah.
For when it's at that level,
Yeah. But
okay, so you never managed to do that, but you did fly a lot.
Yes.
Which is really the important thing.
And at secondary school, I actually wanted to be a mechanic, a car mechanic.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. Probably because I used to help my dad. I'm the eldest in the family, so my brother's been a bit younger. Perhaps they weren't as strong as me, I don't know, or as willing. But I would help my dad to kind of rebuild cars. We rebuilt my first car, which was a Triumph Spitfire in a stunning colour of UW purple.
Okay.
Yep, it was quite a job. And the second car that I helped him with was an MG.
Right.
Which was my wee favourite. But anyway, I didn't get to be a mechanic because in those days you couldn't do mechanical engineering as a girl.
Wow. Okay.
So, next best thing, chef. Chopping, stirring, washing dishes. I did the whole thing. So I trained as a chef, and I went into contract catering, schools and factories, etc. And then got married far too young, at 20.
Well, that is young.
It is pretty young, yeah. And a year later went to South Africa. That was in 1980.
Wow.
Had 3 kids, got divorced.
That happened quickly. Okay.
Yeah, it did actually. 3 kids, one after the other, and from the point of being that, I suppose, the sole earner in the household. And when you've got 3 girls, it can be a pretty expensive deal out there. I probably stepped my game up quite a lot, and got into senior management with South Africa's largest catering company.
Right.
And I loved it. I absolutely adored my job. I really did. Driving around and just making sure that the people that were serving the customers, the end user, I suppose, the person that was dining, were doing the job properly, within budgets, etc. And although I'm dyslexic, I can actually read a spreadsheet of figures really, really quickly. Or I certainly used to be able to. I haven't done it for a wee while now. But what I also found in South Africa was the fact that I was able to show the staff members what to do and how to do it. It wasn't just a matter of, here's the textbook.
And you weren't barking orders. It was kind of, you had the practical experience.
Yeah. One of the nicest things was I was showing somebody how to take a scourer to, you know, when a door, but the door hinges and on the floor, that's where you tend to get dirt catching because you're mopping around it. Sorry, it's a bit graphic, but I got down on my hands and knees with a wee scourer and I said, this is what I need you to do. Not every day, but you know, once a month, whatever it was. Do you know that the whole staff got up and sang to me? It was just absolutely amazing.
Because you had got down and actually showed them how to do it.
It was, they were showing me their appreciation that I could actually get down on my knees with my pencil skirt hooked up above my knees. Yeah. So that was lovely. Yeah. I thoroughly enjoyed life over there.
So how long were you in South Africa for then?
Oh, 16 years.
Right. Wow.
It was a pretty amazing time. Not all great. Obviously, I got divorced. I found it difficult with bringing up 3 daughters on my own. And the way that the politics started to go as well. I felt it was better to bring my kids here. Now, they were all born there, so bringing them from an Emirates flight. In fact, it wasn't even Emirates. I couldn't afford to bring them back on Emirates at the time. It was that horrible airline, Sabina, which we used to name Son of a Bitch Never Again. And I can remember not sleeping very well on the way over, and trying to fall asleep on the floor at an airport in Belgium. Because they were the Belgian airline. It was horrendous. But I did meet a gentleman who wanted to buy me a beer, even though I had 3 kids in tow. So we had a couple of beers on the flight from Belgium to Glasgow. And my mum and dad picked us all up, and I'm like, great stuff. Yeah, and that was 20 odd years ago now. Right. Yep.
Wow. So, and where did you come straight back to Glasgow then?
Yeah, more or less. My parents actually came to South Africa after I went out, but came back a year before I did. So I kind of stayed with them for about a month, and then rented places, etc., etc. And here we all are. Girls are all away and doing their own thing.
Yeah. I think you've got to be thankful for little small mercies like that. You actually get a little bit of peace and quiet.
Yes, now and again.
Yeah, I'm not going to say anything because I was going to say something about my stepdaughters being all away, and I'm like, no, Greg, behave, be good. Anyway, so. Tell me about your first forays into like business networking and all of that, because obviously that's how we met, and you're somebody who I've seen you're very, very active in the business networking world. what did that first look like, and why were you doing that in the first place? Was Diginet your first thing that you were doing, networking wise, or what happened there?
I joined a business network, way back, probably about eight years ago, because I was working at a side hustle, if you like, with a skincare company. And I've got to say, it kind of brought me out my shell quite a lot, because I believe it or not, I'm one of these shy, retiring types.
See, people don't get that about me as well, but I mean, I'm very quiet and shy.
Introvert.
Most of the time. Quite retiring in that sense. I kind of am, actually. I'm not like a wild party animal.
No, me neither. But it taught me to be able to get up and speak in front of people. So I think we all still get nervous of public speaking of any kind. But this taught me that, I could do it. Because I left, or I was in the throes of leaving a job that I really hated, that almost killed me. But it just taught me to trust people.
Yeah.
But also to trust my gut instinct as well.
I think that's a huge thing. It's funny, your gut's never wrong. Whenever you have that sick feeling in your stomach, it's just telling you something.
Yep.
And you can like, nah, this doesn't feel right. And if it doesn't feel right, trust it.
Yes. Yep.
Every single time. But it's funny though that you're saying that though, because about saying about trusting people as well. When I first started business networking outside the music industry, and I say this to people all the time, the thing that really got me more than anything else was the fact that I was meeting nice people. It was kind of like the first 18 months or so, I was kind of like, oh, they actually seem quite pleasant. And they're not out to screw me over. So that kind of was just a revelation to me. Wasn't kind of used to that. Yeah. And speaking to various friends in the music industry, they haven't had they've had, some of them have had just really good experiences, but for me, I just haven't. In terms of like relationships with people or whatever. But I think whenever then you kind of, if that's what your norm is through your work, as you say, you kind of like, whenever you go into some completely new situation and then all of a sudden people are being nice, oh right, I can actually be myself and actually, as you say, trust these people.
Yeah, I think also though, as you get older, as we all do, you get to that stage in life and you think, I really don't give a monkeys what other people are thinking or saying.
Yeah. And they're probably not saying anything anyway. I think there's all of that imagined stuff as well. It's kind of like, they're probably saying this about me. No, they're not. They're worried about making their mortgage payments.
But it's just a place of, it doesn't really matter what they think. Don't care.
And I think, and can I tell you, I think it's just it's a really comfortable place to get to. And you just kind of go, yeah, I don't care. And it's not caring, if you know what I mean. It's
not
putting yourself first. I think that's the thing, in a good way. And I don't mean being selfish, but just looking out for your own, mental health, and just also taking care of yourself. You're like, no, this isn't good for me. If this isn't good for me, if this doesn't serve me, as they say, then I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah, you've got to just drop that shit.
Exactly.
Am I allowed to say shit?
You can say shit if you want. I'll say it. Anyway, so tell me how this shit Diginet then got born. How did that all start?
This is a time where it was actually quite a horrible time in my life, trying to get out of a job that I hated.
Right.
And I was looking for something. I was off work for a long time. I was on long-term sick.
Right.
But eventually I've obviously come to that place in my head that said, right, this cannot pull you down any longer. You have to do something. So I was looking for something, and it was the fact that the company, that the developer that I was using at the time was based in the same office park that I used to be based in Johannesburg.
All right,
It's a sign. Well, yes, it was a sign of let's do something. And I think the product that they had developed 5 years ago, 4.5 years ago, whatever, was really good. I liked doing what I was doing with it, but I just felt that it needed more. The development just wasn't there. So this is why I now look at that first 2 or 3 years as more of a kind of research more than anything. Yes, I was serving customers. I was trying to give them what they needed, but I wasn't able to, because I'm not the developer. I don't know coding.
Yeah.
I can't give them everything. So this is why Go Paperless came about. Now, although I didn't invest any funds into Go Paperless, I have invested a lot of time. They've taken on board some of the things that I've come up with to make Go Paperless a much better digital card and serve people better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I think this is the thing with an awful lot of businesses, that you spend those first couple of years finding your feet and sort of finding your way, and you think you're operating, and you kind of are, but like you say, you're like, yeah, but I'm not actually able to do exactly what I want to do or exactly how I want to do this. And like you say, you're kind of finding your feet, you know, and it ends up being that market research thing, you know, and it's just like, okay, what is this not doing that it needs to do to actually expand and grow, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And I've also found that my role, because with Diginet and the South African developer, it was me, myself and I. I was doing the selling, the building, the trying to tweak things, whatever. But with Go Paperless, there's a whole development team that are just absolutely amazing. I've got tech support, but I've also got a team of resellers. So
right,
globally, okay. Although I've got to say the majority are in England, some in Scotland, but globally I've got 130 odd people in my team. So my role has changed slightly in that I'm not selling so much. I'm more helping them to sell, because it comes down to that whole core value of, I really want to help people.
Yeah.
Whether it's to grow their own business by helping them with a marketing tool, or whether it's to build their own business around a marketing tool. I just want to help.
Mm-hmm. And I think this is the thing, whenever you do have those other people around you, it gives you the freedom to then focus on your areas of expertise that you really want to focus on, like you say, helping people, you know, and you don't have to do the selling, you know, you don't have to do absolutely everything. It just gets a bit, you know, too much.
It does, yeah. So that's why I can sometimes take a few hours off in the garden, which is my happy place these days.
Absolutely. I think we all need to do a bit of that. You know, whenever the weather is actually sunny, which is rare, you know, make the most of it. Absolutely. Okay, so this whole the Go Paperless association that happened over the past year, you know, with the pandemic and all this kind of thing. Tell me how that whole, you know, time period has been for you.
It's just been amazing. I think it's been a horrible time for a lot of people. There's a lot of people who have not been able to reopen their businesses. You know, that they're still boarded up. There's a lot of bad stuff going on out there. There certainly is. But I've found that it's been fantastic for me personally, because I'm not allowed to, but it's opened my mind. I was only networking in and around kind of Glasgow, Edinburgh. I did a couple of expos here and there, but now I've got contacts all over the globe. I do fortnightly meetings in Sri Lanka, which has the Indian, Malaysian market in there. I do quite a lot in New York, networking, of course, and it's all online. But what I actually find with the networks in New York is they are so full of energy. They're just amazing. It's almost like you're feeding off their energy the whole time.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like whenever New York has that kind of very kinetic kind of thing, like what do you need? What do you need? What do you need? That, and it's just like now. And whereas LA is kind of like more, laid back, and it's kind of got that kind of like we're still networking, we're still doing our thing, but it's more it'll happen when it'll happen. But New York and New Yorkers just have that particular kind of energy that is infectious.
Oh, absolutely. I just love going along there. I quite often sub for people in a particular network over there. Not the one I'm a member of here. Not the one with the 3 letters.
It's okay. We did mention it at the start.
Yes, we did.
It's allowed. Yeah, but no, I think there's been a lot of people who the pandemic has just been actually a period of growth more than anything else, and it's been largely a good period for me, and I think we all need to kind of, despite being able to work online and doing all that kind of things, I do think I've spoken to quite a few people over the past couple of weeks who are this, the Zoom fatigue thing, but just generally, like, we've just been sitting in front of the computer and like just done, and it kind of, for me, like, it snuck up on me, like, over the past few weeks. I was just kind of like, before then I was kind of like, yep, keep going, and then all of a sudden I was just like, I just don't want to do anything anymore. Just like literally, I need to take my foot off the gas a bit. But the thing that was really, really interesting is that this is quite a common thing. Like my brother was feeling it just now, and I've got some friends who are kind of like, I'm just exactly the same way that I'm feeling at the same period. And you kind of like, I guess it's just kind of like we're seeing the end of being in the whole lockdown situation. We're starting to kind of come out of things, and then it's kind of like, okay, maybe I can kind of, like I say, take the foot off the gas a bit and kind of ease back a bit to a certain extent. But it's just strange times.
It is, and I think a lot of people feeling trepidation. That's a big word for a Friday. And it's not even midday yet.
No, well done. Congratulations, well done. So that's probably like I'm not too sure how many points I would score in Scrabble, but it's way up there.
It's got to be, absolutely. There is definitely a fear around going back face to face, meeting people face to face. Do you shake hands? Do you hug?
I'm not. Can I tell you? I'm like, nah, I'm not doing it.
I'm the same. I've had a couple of face to face.
Yes,
there've been client meetings. They're people that are already
here,
clients. So, do they count the same? I don't think so. I much prefer the Zoom thing.
Yeah,
virtual.
I mean, somebody said, "Do you want to meet or do you want to Zoom?" I'm Zoom. I'm not meeting you, unless I have to, and I don't really have to. I mean, I've got like my studio in town's open, so I've got clients coming in to record there. That's fine for certain things, but for the most part, I can operate from here. But I think the thing that is nice is being able to meet up with some friends again, and just actually have a coffee and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably the most important thing for me. I'm not keen to go back to networking events. Really.
No. I think
from the point of view of I actually just don't think there's certain things you can like, it'll be nice to meet that group of people again, and all of that, and that's a different thing. But most of the networking things that I've been going to online, I'm kind of like, this kind of worked better online.
Yeah.
In terms of being able to actually get talking to the people that you want to get talking to, and having the right amount of FaceTime, and not getting stuck in a corner with an accountant called Alan.
Do you know him as well?
For 20 minutes, and I'm kind of like, nothing against accountants or guys called Alan, but you're kind of like, really, I think the thing is, it's good whenever you're on that Zoom call or whatever. You can, all right, you get to see who's in the room. Like, all right, see about arranging a one-to-one with that person and blah 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 blah. But
yeah. I just think it's far more productive.
Yeah,
doing things virtually. So. I mean, okay, I'm not exactly town centre or anything like that. I'm a good 35 minutes away from the centre. Depending on the time of day, of course, because let's face it, traffic is getting heavier. I hear about traffic jams on the road, so it must be getting heavier.
There's been a couple of things that, in the past week or two. My wife and I went to we've been to the cinema a couple of times, which was it was good to be back to cinema. We love going to the cinema, but it's socially distanced and all that kind of thing, so that's all good. Happy about that. But I would say though that I was on the train yesterday, which I'm not going to repeat, frankly. And I'm actually, you just kind of like, nobody cares. You know, there's a certain section that are kind of like not socially distancing, not wearing masks and all this kind of thing. I'm like, right, fine. And there is that attitude of kind of like, challenge me. You know, and you're kind of like, really? I just don't want to be dealing with this crap. So, and obviously being a miserable old person as I am now, I'm just shouting at young people.
They need shouted at anyway sometimes.
Absolutely. It's like, look at those disgusting people.
Yeah.
Anyway, so what's on the agenda going forward for Diginet with Go Paperless? Have you guys got a plan for I don't know, global domination? Global domination
is absolutely correct, Greg. Of course. We've got a lot of things in the development curve at the moment. We are adding things all the time to the digital card. And you might have noticed I don't call it a digital business card any longer, because it's not really just a business card. If you think of business cards, they've got a logo and a wee bit of information on them and are in the trash.
I love how you threw that away. Great, nice.
88% of the time they're in the trash. So the type of thing that you get on our cards is like video and gallery and all your web links, or as many web links as you want on there, places that you're trying to pull your customer into, so it's more of a funnel. All your social media links are on there, and of course it's all interactive buttons as to email, telephone, WhatsApp, etc. So it's a lot more than a business card.
Yeah.
And of course it saves into contact as well. So
yeah, I mean, I think this is the thing with so much of this, the whole interconnectivity thing. Interconnectivity, that's a outrageous word thing.
Even for a Friday.
Yes,
that's
absolutely
huge.
But I think this is really, the thing is that you can't just have these things in isolation. The fact that you having it all in the one thing, it's like, you're able to go to my YouTube from here, you're able to find out more about what it is that I do. And not just, here's my number, here's my email. Great, it's people want more. People need to know more about who you are and what it is that you do. And it's all about creating that frictionless connectivity. That's your phrase for your Friday. Frictionless connectivity is what it's about.
I'm going to use that later on today. I provide frictionless connectivity.
There you go. Because with me in my world in marketing, that's the whole thing. It's about remove the friction between you and the customer. How can you get them to see what it is that you do and want to get involved with what it is that you do? But when people kind of it's little things like in the social media thing, it's when somebody goes excuse me, they'll have something and they'll say, if they don't include a link to something, or they make it difficult to kind of, if you type in this into Google and search for this, then you find out, no, they won't. No one's going to do that.
Nobody can be arsed doing that.
Make it simple, make it easy for them to find who you are and what it is that you do. Yeah. Which is exactly what you do. Bodil, thank you so much for joining me this morning, and talking shit.
Yes.
Let's just say that.
Talking utter piles of crap.
Yes. No, it's actually been lovely to catch up with you, and delighted to hear that things are going so well for you. And I shall continue to talk that with you going forward. Massive piles of it. Yes, absolutely. Anyway, thank you so much, and I'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you very soon, Greg, and thank you very much. Take care, everyone.